And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I go see all the movies, so you don't have to.
Black cars, all black, everything.
I've got 4 more agents out on the street.
I counted 6, but thanks for the tip.
I like the new team.
We're the 355.
And today we have the 355, or the 355. The 355. This is how fitting. How fitting. At the first, it's always the first film of the year, isn't it? I'm looking at you, Grudge. First film of the year, every fucking time. Just kidding. Gotta go around. Just I don't know what else to say about it. The 355 came out this current year, in the year of 2022, and it's the first film I'm reviewing this year. Let's get right into it. Directed by Simon Kinberg. Kinberg? Yeah, Kinberg. What did this guy do? His only other directorial credit that would really give you some idea of what direction we're headed in. This guy did X-Men Dark Phoenix. That's what he did. Now, look, I'm not gonna cast any illusions here. The only X-Men film or X-Men adjacent films that I've seen have been Logan and The Mutants. One being the pinnacle of cinema, and the other being, well, you know. So I haven't seen much in the way of X-Men, but everybody and their mother told me that Dark Phoenix was not good. So before I even saw this movie, I didn't know he directed Dark Phoenix, but these are his only 2 movies he's directed now. What's funny is he has producer credit on some great films out there. This, however, is not one of them. As you can no doubt tell by the poster, this has an ensemble cast. And I'll start with the cast because it's one of the positives. This has a great cast. I mean, look, we got some of my favorites. We got Jessica Chastain in here. We have Lupita Nyong'o. I don't know if you don't know the name, I wish I even knew her name more than I did. I had to look her up again, but she's the gal that was in Us. For me, that was her debut. Say what you want about the movie, but I think she killed it in Us. But there's a lot of others. I mean, hell, Sebastian Stan's in this. You have Bucky Barnes, but it's a good cast. It's a great cast, even. But look, sometimes it doesn't matter how much good you throw at something. It just the positives. I'm sure that the girls had a fun time while filming. I hope they had a good time making the movie. I'm sure they did. To the film's credit, it occasionally showed, like, this is like an EKG that is flatlined. In this movie, it's like, bing, just every now and then, just a little bing. Someone is just performing CPR in this bitch for 2 hours, and every now and then a pulse starts to come in. You have a scene where I'm like, okay, this seems pretty decent. Or you have some action that might pop off a little bit in the third act or something. But overall, most of it looks good. I'm sure when they put this out in 4K, like they go to places and some of them look pretty and they all look the actors look great. Everybody looks the part. I think that's all I got. So I haven't been this bored in a movie in a minute. The 355 I think is a complete waste of time. So much so that I literally had the idea to just take notes. I never take notes during a film. Even some like the good, the bad, the ugly. Like I usually just sit through it, grin and bear it. But this, I was like, I gotta do something. So for me, there was so much negative going on in this film that I was like, I gotta make a list. So let's go down it real quick. The biggest note I have for this film, the camera work during almost every action scene is absolutely nauseating. Like the camera's just going everywhere, man. I mean, like, you thought it was bad in some like Marvel films and in Michael Bay, and actually, at least Michael Bay knows how to stabilize his crazy fucking shots, and you will almost never hear me give Michael Bay a compliment on this channel. Michael Bay can like stabilize a fucking camera no matter how many twists and turns and super close shots and firework explosions are going on. Like, it's like some guy just took a camcorder, and for every action scene, he's just like, all right, I got it, here we go, I got it. And what else was there? It feels like all the actors are just reading off a teleprompter. You got all this good talent, but the script is so expository. You and I used to be something, you know, we could try again. Oh no, you know why I'm here, and now I'm going to say it out loud. Oh no, that thing we must go do, I must talk about it so we can go, like, no subtlety, no narrative to gleam, because you're like, it's just, everybody's just reading a cue card, or like, they're just like, oh, this is my script? Okay, cool. You know how important this mission is to me. Why would you risk this after everything we've been through? And then, you know, there'll be some yelling here and some shouting there and some, you know, I mean, people are good at crying, and like, people are emoting, but it feels like people are emoting and showing emotions just for the sake of it, because they're like, oh shit, I'm in a film. Hang on. All right, look, Atomic Blonde did it well. Like, people already shit on Atomic Blonde because they're like, oh, it's just Hollywood trying to empower the feminine. Like, no. She's a secret agent. She's a good secret agent, Charlize Theron's character in this, and she kicks absolute ass. Not like for the sake of it, but like when she has to survive and get the mission accomplished. That's a good female secret agent on screen. You got this. These are some of the most inept motherfuckers. Like, whether it's Sebastian Stan or Jessica Chastain, like there's one scene early on where they highlight that Jessica, her character, has like pinpoint accuracy because she's chasing somebody through this like marketplace, and on a table she stops, sees a lamp, and is like, and like shoots it and stops her. But then later, not even 5 minutes later, the same person she's chasing, she has like it's like a dark tunnel, sure, but she has like point blank, just like 10 paces, maybe 25 paces in yonder direction, and she fires half a clip and can't hit the broadside of a barn. Like, and all these agents, like, you have the hacker who sometimes can't like hack all the way properly, and then you have one of my favorite moments, so she's not a secret agent, but you have a woman who her character is, she's a therapist, and in the almost like near the end of the second act, there's a bit where she has to like talk to somebody and get some information, and she, the therapist, is being coached over the headset how to perform psychotherapy on somebody, how to basically be like, she's like, what do I do? And they're like, oh, use your skills in your profession that you should already know about to go ahead and find out what this guy wants and just, you know, be into it. And then she's all of a sudden, she's like being fed this information. Why? She's the therapist. That's supposed to be her part. I hesitate to say this, but most characters in this film make decisions almost entirely out of emotional reaction. Now, I'm not trying to say that women are acting emotionally in this film because they are women. I'm saying that as secret fucking agents that are trying to defend their name and honor, they're acting not out of a place of logic, but acting out of like a gut, more of a gut instinct, which very often gets them in trouble and often fucks up the mission. It's nothing wrong with acting out of emotion. Some of my favorite scenes in film and television are because somebody cast aside their the logic and the better brain and was instead like, no, this is personal. Forced drama and romance. I like Sebastian Stan and I like Jessica Chastain, and their romance, which happened, like, it's highlighted in the first few minutes of the film, is like, it just feels like awkward and weird, and like the romance in this film just kind of feels like all superficial and surface. Like, I just don't buy a lot of it. It's just weird. Again, it's like they're just reading off of teleprompters. The delivery's not as weird as it was in Old. Well, the delivery in Old is still the weirdest fucking line delivery I've ever heard in my goddamn life. This isn't that bad, but it's not great either. God, and oh my god. Look, the first movie review I ever did was of the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. And I already had to go through all these points and all that. So I went into I say that like I already had to defend this whole argument before, but I criticized Ghostbusters because of not the female cast members, but because of the writing. Because in the first 30 minutes, they managed to squeeze in a poop, a fart, and a queef joke. I shit you fucking not. That's literally the first 30 minutes of the film. That's what it's equivalent to comedy now. Like, whether it's men or women, I'm not a big fan of just like, oh, we're gonna rely on the poopy poop. But like, going into this, I was like, okay, well, I'm not mad because there's an all-female cast. I went in wanting this to be good because again, great cast. I like all these women. I love them. I love most of the movies they do. And I was like, cool, dope. And I'm like, oh my god, I hope they don't I hope they don't do what Ghostbusters did. And they almost didn't. But they had to squeeze in one bonding conversation moment with all these women, where one of them's like, "Oh, what's the craziest story you've ever?" "Oh, I remember," and it was like this whole story about someone hiding something up their ass, and then they played it for comedy. It just made me think of Ghostbusters. I'm like, I get it. They're all just shooting the shit, and it's a funny story, but like, we could just write a different story. Maybe not about just fucking this one guy had this thing up his ass, and it was kind of like, I don't know. Call me crazy. Every dead body in this movie didn't have blood or bullet wounds. Not every dead body. Let me take that back. I felt like I was watching an episode of like CSI Miami or like the new Hawaii Five-0, where just things happen and there's like, oh, here we're all holding plastic guns, and it's like when you fire them and just add the digital effect in later, and then just show some bodies lying around, maybe a little bit of blood, but we can't have too much because we don't want to be too crazy and get an R rating. But like, there'd be some bits. People get shot in this movie point blank, either in the head, directly in the skull, or several times to the body. And then, I shit you not, it'll cut to the next scene and show the body slumped over, and there's like no signs of like bullet entry or like any. It's just like, all right, quick play dead. It's like, come on. People leave each other alive too much in this film, good guys and bad guys. The good guys, I get. You gotta have the moral high ground, right? We gotta have the Batman philosophy, where we gotta bring people to justice and not kill them. But when you have bad guys that, for inexplicable or I guess emotionally driven reasons, like will just leave the protagonists alive, especially close, like right before the third act starts, like there's one pivotal scene, and I'm like, look, like, of course you don't want your heroes to perish, but like, there's no reason why the villain in this scene would leave any of these people alive. They'd be loose ends, but we gotta have a manufactured drama for the third act, don't we? Look, I don't want to rant too much about this movie, but I did not enjoy it. I think it's pretty bad. I think there's better movies to see out there. Hell, Birds of Prey was better than this, and Birds of Prey didn't even Birds of Prey until Act 3 in the last like 15 minutes. It's just like low to no stakes, like just action spy thriller wannabe, but it feels like you're watching like a made-for-TV television thing. It could have been something greater if there had been a different, I think, director, different writers, if they had gone for a different angle. Maybe this could have been something really cool, because I like the idea. And it's funny because unless you saw the trailer, or until you see the last like 2 minutes of the movie, you're like, why is it called the 355? This doesn't make any fucking... The fact that you have to explain why the movie is called what it is in the trailer, because otherwise you go in and you're like, yeah, like, why would you just poorly market it, is what it is. At least the critics agree for the most part. Audiences seem to like it, but audiences also like watching all that ABC, CBS, CW, like, mediocre drama, so it is what it is. Mostly just disappointed. Like, I'm not as angry as I was at, like, The Grudge, or at The Lodge, or movies like that. I didn't, like, leave the theater mad. I just was like, like, it's 2 hours of my life gone. I'm never getting it back. It makes me think of movies that are, like, doing what this movie tried to do, but that are better. But just, characters are illogical. The acting is just, like, weird. It's like they're all just there to cash in a check. There's, like, maybe a couple scenes that start to get to that area of, like, oh, this is okay. But, like, a waste of good talent. And just a story that's predictable. I saw the twist coming a mile away, and yeah, it's not worth your time. Don't see it in theaters. Hell, I wouldn't even say stream it. I don't rent it. Like, it's just not... There's so many better movies you could watch in that 2 hours than this. It's not a complete dog shit, so credit where credit's due. We'll give the 355 a solid, but still, I mean, low on the scale. A solid... I'll give it a 2 out of 5. A 2 out of 5. Was it a terrible, terrible film? No, but it's bad. I don't think it's a good film. I've made that abundantly clear. I can't think of a situation where I would recommend seeing this. There's so many better films to see. Don't waste your time. As I said, I go see all the films, and it's unfortunate because I saw the trailer and I was like, this movie does not look good. Based on the trailer, I was like, this is gonna be like mediocre at best. And I hate that because, like, I want to be surprised. I want to see a trailer and be like, oh, that doesn't look very good. And then go see a movie and be like, holy shit, that was actually pretty decent. But no, usually nowadays you can tell based on how a trailer is cut and how it's done, you can kind of tell like what way a movie's going to lean. And unfortunately, that's the case with the 355. The trailer was unremarkable. I kind of got just the vibes from it. And sure enough, the film is just So don't go see it. That's my review of the 355. As always, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. Goodbye, travelers.